Good evening, guys. Here is your lesson over Chapter 1, Section 7, Simplifying Expressions by Combining Like Terms. It says and the distributive property, but we're actually going to do the distributive property tomorrow, so we're not going to worry about that one tonight. We're just going to talk about combining like terms and how we can simplify an expression. So in order to know about combining like terms, we have to know what the heck we mean by the word terms. Okay, so a vocab word for you. A term in an expression is the part or the parts that are going to be added or subtracted together. I have an example down at the bottom of the screen. There are three terms to this expression right here. 7x is a term because it is being added to another term, which is 5y. 5y, and then after that we have a 3, which was being subtracted. Okay, so when you have addition and subtraction signs in an expression, they separate terms from each other. So 3 terms, 3 different parts that are in that expression. A coefficient is a number multiplied by a variable. So you cannot have a coefficient if you don't have a variable. So this 3 right here, for example, no coefficient in that term because there's no variable part of that term. There's no letter. So the 3, we just call that a what? That is our constant, remember, a value that does not change. Our coefficients in this example are the 7 right there and the 5 because the 7 is being multiplied by the variable x in this term. So the 7 is our coefficient, and in the second term, the 5 is the coefficient because it is the number that was multiplied by the variable y. So an informal way of saying it is it's always the number that comes in front of a variable. Now we're going to talk about, we know what terms are, we're going to talk about what like terms are. So we're going to make this little model here in our journal. We're going to have a box that has a definition of what like terms are. We're going to have a box that talks about the characteristics of like terms, examples of what like terms are, and non-examples, things that are not like terms. So draw this in and be ready to fill it in. There's going to be a lot of stuff on the next screen, so pause the video and write it all out, and then we'll try and make sense of it. Okay, so what I want you to do here, write all of these things down, what like terms, what the definition is, write down the characteristics, write down the examples. Each and every one of these things here are different examples, okay? They're all different examples. These are all examples, non-examples of what like terms are not, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to write it all down, process it, look at the examples and non-examples, the characteristics, and then I want you to write a paragraph summarizing for me, or a couple sentences, what like terms are in your own words. Give me some examples. I want to see that you understand what like terms are by the time you come into class tomorrow. Okay, now we are going to simplify these like terms that we just learned about. So 5a and 3c, are those like terms? You should know this. No, they are not, because they don't have the same variable. If you think of A as representing apples and C representing chairs, can you add 5 apples and 3 chairs together and then magically tell me how many of them together there were? Can I combine an apple with a chair? No, because they're different things. So 5A plus 3C cannot be simplified. It's simply 5A plus 3C. Now the next example, 5A plus 3A, those two terms are like terms because they have the same variable. The 5 and the 3 are different, but they're allowed to be different. The A's are the same. Those can be considered 5 apples plus 3 apples. We all know is 8 apples, so that gives us 8A. The next example, I have B and G. So I can combine the terms that have B's. My 2B and 4B can be added together because they're the same. They're like terms to get 6B. Then I can combine the G's. I can combine something that has a G with something that has a G. 3G minus 1G is 2G. Can you combine 6B plus 2G? No, you cannot because they are not like terms. We can only combine like terms. If they aren't like terms, they cannot be combined together. Let's look at the next example. 5h squared minus 2h squared plus 7. What can be combined there? What are our like terms? An h squared is like terms with an h squared. So I add or subtract their coefficients. What are the coefficients? They're the numbers in front of the variable. So 5 minus 2 gives me 3. The 7 is called a what? What's that word, guys? That's a constant. The 7 cannot be combined with an h squared. Those are not like terms, so it gets left alone. What I want you to do is write these 4 examples down right now. See if you can simplify them on your own. Press pause. When you have answers to them, press play, and let's see if you get them right. I'm just going to show you real quick what the answers are so that you can see if you were right. If you missed one, see if you can go back and figure out maybe they weren't like terms, so they couldn't be combined and you accidentally combined them. That's it. Short and sweet. I'll see you guys tomorrow.